Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Mrs. Media Rahmawati, PhD, as Director of Nusantara Training and Research. The Honorable Professor Insinyur Bambang Bernatos, MSc, as a Chancellor of Borobudur University, Jakarta, and the Honorable for sure Professor Dr. Faisal Santiago, SHMM. And all the speaker, Dr. Muhammad Ansari, Dr. Nur Elisa Abdul Aziz, Dr. Ida Gauran Taudi, and Jonathan Rante Karen, PhD. Tina Amelia, today I want to present my paper and then the Dr. Romanova Cahyati. So I have to say sorry because I can come on your meeting because I have another meeting in Bali, but I'm so happy because today I will present my paper with the influence of creativity, product innovation, and marketing strategy on increasing consumer purchasing power at PT Kaya Ilmu Bermanfaat. Okay, I have to introduction about the PT Kaya Ilmu Bermanfaat, one of the publishing company, and we try to change its company management is PT Kaya Ilmu Bermanfaat. At the moment, Kaya Ilmu Bermanfaat, or I called with KIB, it's only published book product. So the company cannot compete with other publishers who are starting to utility the technology. So the company still need to improve company management, such as starting to publish ebooks or audiobooks. Its utilization of this technology will certainly increasing consumer purchasing the power of KIB. So because it's considered capable of understanding the needs of its consumer, a part of that for a company to be able to survive and compete in competitive market. So it certainly require mature management in creativity, creating innovation, and marketing strategies. And then the creativity and innovation, we can see at the screen, the creativity is divine to ability of the each individual to produce a new and innovative idea that can improve the quality and effectiveness of work of business. So the indicator of the creativity as follow by 3 points. The first is talking about the authenticity at the level of product novelty. And the second, we're talking about the level of product transformation. And the last, it's talking about the idea of product innovation. And when we're talking about the innovation, innovation is a product knowledge update that usually combine update to from to unknown product method. The indicators of the innovation are as follow by the land expansion, the new product, and the new product is completely new. So very interesting to talking about the creativity and the innovation. And then about the marketing strategy and consumer purchasing power. So while we're talking about the marketing strategy is a series of goals and objective policy and the regulation that provide direction to all marketing effort from time to time at every level and their reverence and allocation, especially as a company responses to environment and the competitive condition that continue to change. So we have a 4 indicator of the marketing strategy are as follow by first about the trust and honest. This is very important thing about talking about the true and honest and trusted, smart, and the last it's communicative. So the marketing strategy, we have to really communicate it to engage our consumer. And then about the consumer purchasing power, so it can be characteristic by increasing of decreasing. So when the purchasing power increases, it is the higher than its previous period, while decreasing purchasing power, it's indicated by the people purchasing power being higher than in the previous period. So the indicator of the customer purchasing power are as follow by first, the communication capability is community ability to buy a product. So community capacity is very important thing to get it. And second, about the income is the income of each community within 1 month period. And then the price is a cost that must be incurred but fulfill purchase a product. And then the needs are all from that are required by each individual to maintain their survival. So we can see at the screen, this is the hours, frameworks, and hypothesis. Okay, it's about the creativity, innovation, and the marketing strategy. And this is the goals is about the consumer purchasing power. So the hypothesis in this research as follow by the uh, H1, H2, H3. This is the talking about H1 is there is a possibility positive and significant influences between creativity and purchasing power of consumers, and it is the useful knowledge. And the H2 or X2, it's talking about there is a positive and significant influences between innovation on the purchasing power of the corporate consumers, so it is the useful knowledge. And the X3 or X3, it's there is a positive and significant influence between marketing strategy on the purchasing power of the corporate, so it is the useful knowledge. Okay, the research method that we use in this paper is the conducted research on consumer of the KIB, and then data source. This is the primary data is research was obtained directly and can be the process by research by draw conclusion. So the primary data in this research was obtained from the questionnaire distributed to KIB to consumer. So, and then the secondary data is data obtained indirectly. So when primary data is directly, so the secondary data is indirectly for sure. The true documentation, reports, journal, and etc. that can support it research. And then the population is a generation area that include object and subject in a research environment. So the population is the research, it's all the consumer of the KIB. So because of the large population in this study, so it is very necessary to use sampling technique in this research. So the technique is the very purposely sampling, where sampling is carried out by the certainly consideration. We can see at the screen the N 1.60 X2 and etc. So the result is 97.6. So we can get the research method. So this research use two data collection method is namely questionnaire and documentation. So that measurement scale used in the research in the Likert scale. So this research use data analysis using smart PLS software. So smart PLS software is very helpful to solve the problem, and which is the run the using computer media PLS as the partial least square. It's a variant-based structural equation analysis, it SEM, that can simultaneously the test measurement models as we as a test structural model. Again, this is the respondent characterism. So we can separate the respondent characteristic by the gender, by the age, and by the last education. So we can see the percentage among, let's say, about the gender. It's a man and woman. It's for men, it's near or amount on 37, and woman it's on 63. So the percent that we can make the conclusion that a woman is more more passionate in a book likely. And then the age we can see, so someone who very productive and like 70 on until the 25 years old is very higher percentage. So when someone is older, with someone is older, so it's more less to the characteristic, it's more low. And the last education, we can see that someone who have a bachelor degree have a higher percentage than someone who we have to say sorry and the postgraduate or on the high school on diploma. So the bachelor had a highest percentage. Okay. So, after we can see about the characteristic by the age, by the gender, so and by the education, so we can converge in the validity test. So the validity tests are used to access to extent to which research tool to measuring instrument can measure the variable being measured actually and consistently. Okay, we can see that in this research, validity test was very carried out in a small sample involving 35 data. Is the 35 data very considered valid as the loading factor value extended? It's 0.60. And the following are the result of validity are reliability tests in a small sample presented in the table. So overall, the loading factor result from each variable have extended of the value of 0.70. So they can be said to be valid. So this is the variable, creativity, innovation, marketing strategy, and consumer purchasing. We can see that the percentage, uh every key point and every innovation, every marketing strategy, and every consumer purchasing power has a different result. So the discriminant validity test, we can say that when the conducting a discriminant validity test, the FVA or average variety extracted as well value in considered valid, it is exceeded 0.5. So the following are the result of discriminatory validity test in study. So we can see the variable, it's creativity, innovation, marketing strategy, and consumer purchasing power. Its decision is valid, but with a difference result, but it's near of the among one and another's. Okay, and this is the reliability. This is the reliability. So when we're talking about the reliabilities, so it's talking about reliability testing to elevate to considering and the stability of the measurement scale, especially in questionnaires, which is the function of indicator and its variable. So the variable by the creativity, innovation, marketing strategy, consumer purchasing is very the decision it's relevant, it's all the relevant. So we can see the inner model, everyone can see the screen. It's this is yeah, a little bit very complicated, but it's okay, we can get the composite reliability is very reliable to made it. Okay, and then the R square. So based on the R score value above, and that 44.1%, and the consumer purchasing power variable, it's Y, influenced by variable creativity, X1, innovation in X2, and marketing strategy and X3. So meanwhile, the remaining 45.6% was influenced by other factor outside the recipe. So we can see the variable customer and power is R quadrant adjusted. So after all that I talking about, so we can finally can make a conclusion by the hypothesis testing. So we can see the hypothesis testing by the information, by the original sample, by the statistic, and the p-value, the result. So only H3, it's H3, it's talking about the why it's so accepted, but all the rejected. But about the H1, H2, so we can in this research, the data analysis, Smart PLS software, the version 30.0, adopted is 5%. So the namely through the bootstrapping method. The following are the result of hypothesis testing in this research. Okay, the influence of the creativity on the consumer purchasing power. We can see that based on the result, the variable has an insignificant positive effect. The purchasing power of the KIB consumer is the shown by a p-value on point what 0.3037. It's more higher than 0.05. So the first hypothesis in the study cannot be accepted in this case. So the influence of the innovation consumer purchasing power of the KIB, so based on that result, so the variable has insignificant positive effect, the purchasing power. So if it does not suit the needs a problem face the consumer, it is impact to consumer purchasing power, so will be limited. So consumers tend to prefer product of 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 services to meet their needs well rather than those they are a simplify innovation. Okay. So the influences of the consumer purchasing power on KIB. So based on the result, it showed the marketing strategy variable has a significant positive effect on a purchasing power on KIB. So this is shown by value of 0.030 is smaller than 0.05. So the third hypothesis in the study cannot be accepted. Okay. So the conclusion, the first, the creativity has an insignificant positive effect on the purchasing power of the KIB. And secondly, innovation has an insignificant positive effect on the purchasing power of the KIB. And marketing strategy has a significant positive effect on the purchasing power of KIB. So the marketing strategy about the ebook, maybe about the audiobook, maybe is very have a significant positive effect. So I think marketing strategy be the powerful the strategy, so we have to more concern about the marketing strategy. Okay, thank you so much. I think that's all the presentation. I hope this presentation made a useful thing, and see you in the next event. Thank you, Dr. Tina Amelia and Dr. Romanova. Say thank you for all the presenter and all the honorables. So thank you so much and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.